we are using least common multiples to help us compare fractions. Okay, so we're comparing 5/8 and 2/4. So I love that they have the models. I can eyeball the models being one of our strategies and see that this model here is closer to 1 whole. So I do know that 5/8 is greater than 2/4. But let's say we didn't have a model and we had to turn these to have the same diva, right? Denominator diva to have the same diva. Let's talk about how to do that. So we want multiples of 8. Boys and girls, I want to see 5 multiples of 8. So I have 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 4 is 32. And 8 times 5 is 40. All right. How about multiples of 4? We have 4, 8, 12, 16, and 5 times 4 is 20. All right, so we have our multiples of our eighths and our fourths. Let's find the least common multiple. So we're finding the least number that they have in common. Well, this one doesn't have 4, right? So they both have an 8 in common, and that's the least number they have. So our least common multiple is an 8. So we're going to turn both of these to a least common denominator of 8. So we're going to turn both of them into 8s. Well, guess what? 5/8 is already an 8s, right? So 5/8 equals 5/8. But if we're going to turn this one into 8s, I got to think. 4 times what equals 8? Well, 4 times 2 is 8. Now, do you remember the rule? If I multiply the denominator by 2, what must I also multiply the numerator by? By 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So now it becomes super easy to compare. 5/8, and we're comparing that to 4/8. Well, I want 5 pieces of pizza. 5/8 is greater. So 5/8 is greater than 2/4 because 2/4 was equivalent to 4/8. All right, boys and girls, look at number 3 with me, please. We're comparing 6/12. Look how small 6/12, how small those pieces are, to 1/3. Wow, 1/3 is a big piece, right? All right, so which model looks greater? Because our first strategy is just to eyeball our models. Well, this one, 6/12, half of 12 is 6. So this one's equivalent to half. And 1/3, that's not quite a half, right? Because if I was thinking about it, that would be a half, right? So it's not quite a half. So I can eyeball it and say that 6/12 is greater. But what if I don't have the models, right? We got to have a strategy here. Well, we're going to do multiples of 12. 1 times 12 is 12. 2 times 12 is 24. 3 times 12 is 36. 48. And what? 60? All right, there's my 5 multiples of 12. All right, we're going to do multiples of 3. We have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. All right, using those 5 multiples, let's find the least common multiple. Well, this one doesn't even have a multiple until 12, right? Oh, take a look. This first multiple is 12. So the first one that I can match up with it is 12. All right, so we're going to turn both of these into 12s. So our least common multiple, well, they both have a 12 in common. It's the least number. It's also going to be our least common denominator. Well, this one's already 12ths, right? So it's going to say 6/12. We're going to have to turn these thirds into 12ths so we can make it really easy to compare. Well, 3 times what is 12? 3 times 4 is 12. And if I multiply my denominator by 4, I must multiply my numerator by the same thing. And 1 times 4 is 4. So now this is super easy. 6/12 and 4/12. Which one is more 12ths? Well, 6/12 is more, right? So 6/12 is greater than 1/3 because our 1/3 was equivalent to 4/12, right? I totally forgot up here that I need to eat also my greater fractions. All right, boys and girls, number 2 and number 4. Y'all are going to do these independently and give it to a sub after we complete all that we're going to do together. The next one that I want us to look at together is number 5. Okay, turn to number 5, please. So our first model, we need to represent 7/12. So I need 12 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, because that'll make our 12. All right. And the the second one. We want to represent 3, 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm trying to do equal parts. It's not quite so easy though. So I need 7/12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 3, 6. 1, 2. All right. Now, honestly, guys, I do not trust my models. Well, actually, I do, because half of 6 is 3, right? Half of 6 is 3. So that would be 1/2. Well, what's half of 12? 6. So this 7/12 is greater than a half. So I'm feeling pretty good about my model right now. So just eyeballing my model, I could say that 7/12 is greater, but it would make it real easy if I turned it into least common denominators. Then it's super easy. So I have 12, 24, 36, 48, and 60. Okay. 6 is 6, 12, 3 times 6, 18, 4 times 6, 24, 5 times 6 is 30. All right, they both have a 12 in common. So my least common multiple is 12. Well, 7/12, that's already 12, so it's going to stay as is. And we're going to turn this one into 12. 6 times what equals 12? 6 times 2. We're going to multiply this times 2. Keep the same rule. 3 times 2 is 6. So I have 7/12 and 6/12. Which one has more 12ths? The 7/12. All right. Please look at number 6 with me. All right. We have 3/4. We're going to turn this into 4. So I need 3 lines. And then 7/8. That's, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did my best there to make equal parts. Is definitely not exact. So 3, 1, 2, 3/4, and 7/8. All right. So just eyeballing my model, which I don't necessarily trust so well because I make the parts myself, but I would say that 7/8 is greater. But let's use our least common multiples to make least common denominators to make it real easy for us. So we have 4s. Multiples of 4. Count by 4s. 4, 8, 12. 4 times 4, 16. 5 times 4 is 20. 8, blah, not my favorite. 8. 8 times 2. 16, 8 times 3, 24, 8 times 4, 32, 8 times 5 is 40. All right, they both have an 8 in common, and it's the least number that they have in common. So we're going to turn these both into 8s. Well, 7/8 is already 8s. We're going to turn this into 8s. 4 times 2 is 8, so 3 times 2 is 6. So now we can compare 6/8 and 7/8, which is more 8s, the 7, right? So we can say 3/4 is less than 7/8. All right, we're going to do one more together, guys. Take a look at number 9. It says a muffin recipe called for 2/3 cups milk and 5/12 cups melted butter. Does this recipe use more milk or butter? Find the least common denominator to compare the two fractions. In your own words, explain how you know you are correct. All right, so we're going to compare 2/3 to 5/12. Remember, 2/3, that's going to be our milk, and 5/12 is our butter, our melted butter. All right, here we go. So we have our denominators, 3 and 12. So let's list our multiples of 3 and our multiples of 12. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wanted 5. 12s, 12, 24, 36, 48, and 60. All right, what do they have the least number that they have in common? Well, this one starts at 12, so, here's a 12 and here's a 12. So we're going to turn them both into 12s, right? So let's see. 2/3, we're going to turn into 12s. 3 times 4 is 12, so also multiply your numerator. 2 times 4 is 8. So, and then we have our 5/12, which is still 5/12, right? So let's compare 8/12 and 5/12, which is more 12s, 8/12. And remember, 8/12 was equivalent to 2/3. So this one was the greater. And what is it? 8/12 represented our 2/3, which represented our milk. So milk. So milk is used. I don't really like the way I wrote this. Milk is used more than butter in the recipe. Boom, guys. We did so good. Thank you for paying attention. All right, you have some. If I did not do it with you, you were to do it independently. And then I want you to show it to the sub, and the sub can check your independent work before you move on to your task list. All right, miss you guys. See you tomorrow.